Hey guys, welcome back. It is week 4 of fat loss using carbon. This week was actually a great week for compliance, as you guys are about to see for me. Monday to Friday is always, before I do these videos, I literally sit here and I'm like, Lane, what do we do this week? Honestly, there's never really like a distinct weekend or a stopping point, because we often just work the weekends, or we have a day on the weekend where we work, and sometimes we'll fit in like a leisure day or a family day on the weeks that we have the kids. Some of the highlight or key things that have kind of happened, I guess, this week, I got to go on a podcast with James Smith. He's got a huge following. He's super funny. I have watched this guy's Instagram for a little while, and he has a really good YouTube channel too. Just delivers information, super dry, very funny, maybe sometimes really like rude and inappropriate with the delivery, but it's funny. So that's okay. Yeah, I got to go in his podcast and that was really fun. We ordered, speaking of podcasts, we got actually some new equipment for our own podcast. So we've been talking about this for a long time now, and we have been doing the podcast for a long time now. But I think because we are always spreading thinly, as you guys know, we've got the podcast down. We've had several guest speakers. And in fact, next week we get to interview Mr. Olympia. So I'm so excited for that. We've got the episodes, but we just haven't had time to edit them or get the cover art for our podcast, because it's like, oh, this has come up this week, this has come up, oh, we're gonna do this, and it's just never been a priority. So finally, we ordered a really cool little, I guess, mixer that is way more efficient than the one that we had. I can't wait to start getting these out to you guys, because Lane loves to talk. I like to interject talk and listen mostly, and then interject a little bit more. So we kind of balance each other out, because he'll just chat about something and I'll think of something completely different than what he would talk about. So we have a really good balance. And of course, we love to have guests on the podcast too. So very excited to be getting these to you. I believe we've got about 15 episodes that are currently being edited, and that will go live in the coming weeks. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys here. This week, as normal, busy week with clients. I think I've picked up quite a few new clients randomly, and been doing a lot of consults. So my time just flies. I'm like getting into bed. I'm like, oh my God, it's 11:30. Finish some social media, sleep, and then do it all over again. So nutrition was great during the week, and we'll take a look at my nutrition in a second. One of the things I guess that I had mentioned is this diet. For me, the goal is exactly to be flexible. So it's always been, very rigid. If you stuff up, you're going to have to make it up somewhere in the form of, you need to then do extra cardio if you exceed your nutrition targets, or you need to reduce the other days to make up for the day of overdoing your calories. And that is kind of part and parcel with dieting for a contest prep. If you want to get into the condition for, being world class, you don't really have days to kind of make up for it. Yes, you would potentially plan your contest prep months in advance, so that you've got diet breaks, periods of time back out of a deficit to give you a bit of a mental break, a physiological break. But that doesn't excuse life, and we have lots going on, and some days I'm just like, I can't do it today. It's just really hard. So this has obviously been such a transition. So again, this week was another one of those examples where we had a special event. So it was Father's Day on Sunday, and we had decided that we were going to do something with the family. We got up, went for breakfast, went out, and then kind of kept going through, went on the boat, took a few drinks, took a packed lunch, did all that kind of stuff. And then we came home and ordered takeout. I didn't go crazy. I didn't even get back to what my previous, pre-diet calories were for that one day. But I kind of preemptively ate a little bit less throughout the week. I wasn't normally what I would do is if I get to the end of the day and I can see that my carbs or fats are a little low, I will try and find something that, a little snack that will get me to the target. Or to be at least within a 3% range of my goal. This week, knowing that Father's Day was coming up, I kind of looked at a couple of days and was like, I'm a little bit under on calories. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it, because I'm probably going to have a bit more on Sunday. So sure enough, I did. And it's kind of exciting now, I guess, to see what my weekly compliance was like. Let's just have a look, and we'll talk about, I guess, some of the other things that have popped up as we go through the check-in. Okay, so I'm going to go have a look at my calorie compliance this week. So you can see here I've got a weekly average of 1635. So my target was 1597, but we do have that 2.5% range, higher or lower. So you can see there a couple of days in the week, I was quite a bit lower. So in the 13s there, 14s on a couple of other days. Now let's have a look at my proteins. So that was pretty consistent for the most part. A couple of high days there. I see a 180 on Father's Day. Just, having bigger portion sizes when you're eating out tends to do that. So my average still came in at 152. Now having a look at my carbohydrate for the week, you can see there Sunday was 244 for Father's Day, but the days during the week, much lower, lower in the 120s. And that was kind of intentional, knowing that I might be having a higher day on Father's Day. So then the last macro, fats, weekly average 46. And then we'll go and have a look in a moment at my actual check-in and what the compliance ranges are. But first, I did want to show you what happened with my weight. So you can see there I actually weighed in on Monday, so the day after Father's Day, when I had the 2100 and something calories that you just saw. But my weight was actually still at 72.9, which is really interesting. So it kind of just goes to show you, knowing what my maintenance calories were prior to starting this diet, and they were just in the 2250, 2300, it kind of varied from day to day. So by me going back to that amount of calories, it didn't really make too much of a divot on my current body weight, because we know we have that maintenance calorie range. So I was a little uncertain because I don't think I actually checked my macros when I went to bed. I'd put it all in and I was like, oh, it is what it is. There's no point me stewing over it. So yeah, I think getting up on the scale and taking my weight in the morning, I was worried. But now looking back and I can see what my actual calories were on that day, it makes perfect sense why I didn't see a crazy, weight spike. I think a couple of things to say here. So my weekly calories, I'm going to assume are compliant based on the calorie average that it's just mentioned. But how come, if that's the case, I didn't lose weight on such low calories? A couple of you said, oh, how come you're eating like under 1600? And yes, it is just under 1600. This week, as I mentioned in my previous video, I'm still waiting to get my monthly cycle. So for me, generally what I see, and it is different for everybody, is that probably in 2 to 3 days prior to getting my weight, to getting my cycle, I will start to see my body weight increase. And generally, I'll see anywhere from 1 to 2% weight increase. And of course, the heavier I am, so the bigger the body, the bigger that fluctuation is going to be. So normally, when I'm like getting leaner and on the lower end of my normal weight range, my 1 or 2% increase around the time of the month might only be 0.7 of a kilogram. But now that I'm heavier, 1 or 2% is a bigger number. So it usually means, like, over the last 3 months while I've still been getting my period, which is unusual because normally when I'm competing, I don't get it. Now my weight flux is more in the line of say 1.5 to 2 kilos because I'm just heavier. So that is a good sign, because knowing that I'm still meant to get it and that my weight is probably a little bit artificially elevated at the moment, the fact that my weight hasn't gone up probably means that once I get it and I start to have my hormones get back to normal, I'm probably going to see a pretty big drop on the other side, because if I didn't get my cycle, I probably would have lost what I've normally gained. So I'm interested to see how the next few days goes, and potentially the next week when I'm doing my check-in, because I think I should really start to see some movement, considering, like, again, this was a really good compliant week. Obviously the one high day, but it was within calorie balance. So let's go and have a look at my check-in. We'll see how the coach kind of prompts me through that. Okay, so it's going to ask me, was I compliant to my target? So I know that my weekly average calories were 1635, so it's just scraped in. You can see the upper end of that range is 1637. Protein was good at 152. My carbs were actually a little bit higher this week. My average was 156. But my fats were slightly under at 46. So calories and protein are most important, because we know the ratio of carbs to fats doesn't really make too much of a difference. So I'm actually compliant this week. I'm going to pop in today's weight. Still waiting for the period to happen. Well, maybe it will, maybe it won't, who knows. So I'm going to mark, yes, I am close to my menstrual cycle. Does everything look okay? Yes, that is all correct. I can't tell you the number of people that before we had that prompt, people would enter in the wrong stuff and they were like, put in the wrong information, what can I do? So we put that check in there just in case. So now you can see I'm going to go in and adjust my ratios. So the reason that I'm doing that is you'll have noticed that generally I kind of undereat my fats a little bit. It wasn't super low this week. It was like 1 gram less than my target. But generally speaking, it's much easier for me to reduce my fats than reducing my carbohydrates. It tends to be that I'm always sneaking over my carbs a little bit. Now, even though my calories, come out balanced because I'm hitting my overall calories, it's just that ratio of carbs and fats are different. Just for my own sanity, I'm going to go and make an adjustment to my the ranges so that each day I can kind of be at ease knowing that I hit my target properly and not having to adjust and swap around. So I've moved my carbs back up to 150 and dropped my fats down to 44. So it's not a huge difference, but enough to be, I guess, I don't know, it fixes my OCD. So now I'm just going in and resetting all the days so that it is 7 days of clean slate. Otherwise, what will happen is the coach will automatically set the days based on your previous high day selections. So for me, that kind of changes. Some days I take a high day, other days I don't. Sometimes I go over and I make it a high day and then it will adjust down. So I always go back in after I've done my check-in and make a clean slate. And then this weekend we have our son's birthday, so my stepson's birthday. So I'll probably end up deciding to have a slightly higher day on Saturday. But normally, if I'm having a few drinks and there's a lot of entertaining, I don't necessarily get that hungry in the moment. Certainly not at that kind of an event. So I may not need to. So we'll see. So I'm going to keep it all the same for now. And hopefully we'll see how I go. So that's my check-in. The reason we didn't get an adjustment this week is primarily because I marked, yes, I'm close to my cycle. And I think I've explained this last week, but I'll explain it again because I still always get asked, if I didn't mark, yes, I'm close to my period and I'm still waiting for it. Like I just said, my weight generally increases. So if I didn't let the coach know that it was actually, I'm meant to be getting my period this week, and all of a sudden I start entering in all my artificially elevated body weights, well, now the coach thinks that the calories that I'm consuming are not enough to cause weight loss. So if I didn't mark that and checked in, the coach is going to be like, Holly, we've got to drop your calories this week because you're not losing weight. But it was just my cycle. So that is really important. Everyone asks, well, how many days before, if I think I'm due, on, 5 days out from my check-in, should I still mark it? Or, something like that. Yes, if you think you're remotely close and you're unsure, worst case scenario is you check it too early, like I've done last week, checked it too early, didn't even get it. And I just end up having the same calories. That is a far better outcome than having the coach adjust your calories down that was completely unnecessary due to your weight being up. So I always say, err on the side of caution. If you're unsure, check, yes, I'm still close to my cycle. And then the worst case is you'll just repeat the macros for 2 weeks in a row, which I think is a much better outcome than, me having been told this week, because I am about to get it, calories are coming down, you just didn't lose weight. So hopefully that clarifies that question, because it does come up often. I think that's probably all I really have to talk about this week. Excited for seeing our families. So I haven't seen Lane's parents since way before Christmas last year, and I'm never available. I always am just working. So this time I've actually taken some time off client check-ins. So probably twice a year I'll have clients not check in with me, and I'll have one of our coaches check in for me, which is just really awesome to have that option. And yeah, we're actually going to spend 2 days during the week oh my God, not working, or it's certainly not coming into the office. So it'll still be, social media, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're doing a full day of fishing this Thursday, so 2 days from now. We're going out on a charter with Lane's dad, who loves it. So we're doing that. I think we're doing a go-karting race, and Lane's dad swears he's going to kick my ass, and I'm just like, please. I'm a rally car driver. No one's beating me. So I'm excited to share that footage with you next week, because I'm going to kick his ass, and he's just been like, I've got you. So we're going go-karting. We've booked to go to Burns Steakhouse, which is really, it's been here for, I think, 100 years, I'm going to say. It's a very old building in downtown Tampa. They have the largest wine collection, I think, in all of America. I'm pretty confident in saying that. It could be even extend beyond that. It is an enormous collection. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of bottles of wine, and you can do a tour. It's all underground in a chilled cellar area. You can see dirt in the walls. So cool. Very authentic. And they have a dessert room upstairs. It's really intricate. The building's really quirky. It's kind of it reminds me of medieval times, but I don't know. It's just super old fashioned. You could get up there, you could dress in old fashioned clothing, and you wouldn't look out of sorts. It's really cool. Not that we're going to do that. Maybe one day we will. So desserts are coming on Tuesday. So I'm going to have to do some planning for that particular day, but that'll be at my next check-in. So that's something that we're looking forward to, and just being able to sit down, because this is about the only time I sit down in the day. So yeah. But anyway, guys, I think that's all for this week. I'm looking forward to finally hopefully getting some progress on the board. I'm moving into week 4, and I'm still in the 72s, and my starting weight was 73. And it's kind of gone up before it's come down, and it's just very frustrating. But I think, I'm learning to be okay with that, because my goal, as I said, is to be more flexible with my fat loss approach and not let it really hinder my mood so much, or let it stress me out. So it is getting easier, but it's also should I really bother trying if I'm not going to, go for it? But I think I'm in a good spot. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I will jump on and answer questions once a week to all of the questions that come through. If you have anything you want me to talk about, this is the space to do it, so please do. And I look forward to seeing you next week.